Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for coming today. A huge turnout. Thank you guys so much for being here. My name's Z. I'm the founder of National Ground Game. Tonight, we're going to get into some really exciting debate, so thank you guys for coming. I just wanted to say that in light of Charlie's assassination that happened last week, we have a lot of people here that are, shocked, confused, and we're hopeful that this can be a really amazing bipartisan event. So thank you guys again for coming. I want to pass it off real quick to Victoria and Patrick, who are part of the political review here. They've sponsored this event for us. They're amazing. They've done so much hard work. I also just want to let you guys know that if you would like to ask a question tonight and you would like to be part of this debate, you'll be lining up here to ask your question. We will be limiting it to one question per person just because of how big this event is. So thank you guys again for being here.
Hello, everyone. Oh, that's kind of loud. Sorry. Hi. Good evening. My name is Victoria Doskotch. I'm a co-president of CSU Political Review here on campus.
And I'm Patrick McCabe. I'm the other co-president of CSU Political Review. CSU Political Review is a nonpartisan, politically engaged social club here on campus. We've hosted numerous events in which students from all political perspectives have been able to come together, build community, engage in civic participation, and keep the spirit of free speech alive. Tonight at our event, we hope to do just that.
Sorry, hi. I'm so glad that we all have the opportunity to be here for some good-spirited debate. And at CSU Political Review, we believe in constructive debate, dialogue, and discussion. So today we ask you to please be respectful and refrain from using any hateful language during this event to ensure everyone's enjoyment of it. But again, also, as a nonpartisan club, we want to make it clear we do not endorse any of the people here on this platform. Instead, we endorse you, the students in the community, to use your voices, engage in political dialogue, and do that with people you disagree with. So we just want to say thank you so much for coming out today and supporting us, and I hope you enjoy the event. Thank you.
All right. So big round of applause for the CSU Political Review. They're the ones that helped us get here. And I just want to really acknowledge the security we have here tonight. So let's give them a big round of applause. Just a few general housekeeping rules. If anyone does want to ask a question, Kayla would like you to start lining up right now so she can start vetting your questions. So just come down this main aisle right here. If anyone needs to use the restroom, you are going to need to exit to the left. Go out the detectors to the left, and your sticker will get you back in. And we want to encourage everyone to check out the website, unfuckamericatour.com, and spread the word of what we're doing. And, of course, we're always shamelessly asking for donations. So we appreciate you. So without further ado, we want to get to the main event. And we're going to have Destiny come on up. And please go ahead and start lining up. Don't be shy.
Hi, Destiny. How's it going?
Hey, pretty good. How you doing?
Good. So I'm a student representing CSU Political Review. I just wanted to question you about some of your rhetoric recently following the death of Charlie Kirk. So or not you, but at the aftermath of this event, Charlie Kirk has almost become a martyr for the right. You think that the killing of conservatives and the fear of conservatives to be killed is going to turn down the temperature of their leaders, but I was just at the vigil, and I'll tell you what, the temperature has only risen. So why do you think that the temperature is going to go down for leaders like Donald Trump that, I saw you at the plaza speaking about earlier, are clearly not turning down their rhetoric at all?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the rhetoric is going to turn down because I don't think Donald Trump has any desire to turn it down. I think the left has been disavowing violence and calling for a decrease in the rhetoric for like the past decade, and for some reason, Republicans seem completely and utterly unwilling to do it. For everybody that's saying bullshit right now, I welcome you to go look at Joe Biden's Twitter to see what Kamala Harris has said, to see what Barack Obama has said, and then you can go ahead and post me what Donald Trump has said in response to everything, which is just a call for more violence, basically, on the right.
So I understand what you were saying earlier. You were saying that the left doesn't have a need to disavow, like that should be on the conservatives. But I feel like
I think everybody should disavow, to be clear.
Everybody
Yeah.
should disavow. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm speaking with you.
That's great, but what about the president?
But what I'm getting at, it's not about the president. It's not about the leadership. It's about you promoting this violence, saying that conservatives need to be afraid of dying at events. That is what I take issue with.
It has nothing to do with conservatives. Yeah, go ahead. Violent conflict for political beliefs in the United States is not good for anybody. I feel like that here exists on the left. Nobody wants to see the violence. For some reason, it feels like the right feels like they're invincible and that they can go out and say the craziest things and invite like all of the conflict that Donald Trump is still pushing. You can say it. I mean, just look at what Donald Trump says. I invite somebody up here to tell me how Donald Trump has disavowed violence without blaming Biden or the left. When you come up here, no one's going to have anything to say because he hasn't done it. It's absolutely insane to me. So I don't know if the feeling is just that the right is inviting conflict. They don't think it's a big deal. I can't tell. I genuinely can't tell.
I think the temperature that I'm gathering, and while, as a conservative, I don't follow the demagogues on the right.
You don't follow the leader of your party, the political party?
They're not my party. I'm a conservative, but I'm also registered as an independent. And the thing that I kind of want to, the thing that I want to ask you is, you need to make a statement very firmly condemning violence. And when you say things, and you go on Piers Morgan, and you continually say that the right needs to disavow, so do you. All of us need to. That's the point of this tour.
We've been disavowing for 10 years. The right refuses to do it.
It's not about, my question is not about left versus right. My question is about your recent remarks. That's all I'm trying to get at.
Well, if you don't even care what the president has to say on violence, why do you care what I have to say? I'm not even part of your political movement.
I do not care.
This is an unserious question. If you don't care, why do you care what I say?
I also care what the president says. My point is that
you guys should ask him to turn it down.
I also think, Destiny, that you have a role in doing this because you represent.
You're dead wrong. You're absolutely wrong. I'm sorry.
You don't think so when you have such a big platform.
Not as
you're
big
the
as the president of the United States. Not as big as J.D. Vance. Not as big as Nancy Mace. Not as big as all these lawmakers, cabinet members, presidents, vice presidents, podcasters, alternative media guys on the right, everybody from the Daily Wire,
Destiny.
Steve Bannon and his show. All of these guys are saying the left is the enemy. The radical left Democrats are the one that caused this. They had a whole conspiracy led out about who the shooter was before they even knew who anything about him at all.
Destiny.
So I'm sorry. Like, the idea that you're up here saying, like, well, your rhetoric is responsible is a joke.
I don't believe that your rhetoric is responsible at all. I'm saying that the promotion of this continual rhetoric will only feed into the right. This is only feeding into the people that you are saying to disavow violence.
How does it feed in to say I want everybody in this country to disavow violence? How does that feed into the right?
I was at the rally.
No. Can you explain? When I say I want everybody in this country to be able to disavow violence, how does that feed into the right?
When you say that conservatives need to be afraid of dying at events,
I've never said conservatives need to be afraid. I've said that everybody should have a healthy fear of political violence. We shouldn't want it to happen.
So then say everybody.
I've said it. We've said this for over a decade, but you guys don't hear it.
Then
you're not connected to reality.
I'm not connected to reality.
You're not connected to reality. How many BLM rioters did Joe Biden pardon? Exactly. How many J6ers did Donald Trump pardon? What kind of a message is it sending to your base to say that you can commit violence on my behalf to install me as a leader, and if you get caught, I'll pardon you?
There's a lot of implicit assumptions that you're making. You're assuming that I support January 6th. You're assuming that
conservatives do.
Yeah, but you're generalizing me as a part of the Republican right.
Yeah, because we're talking about the political parties right now. This isn't just you and me.
I'm standing here with a club, and we are trying to promote dialogue here. That's all I'm concerned about. And all I'm asking you is that as a conservative, where I have faced this fear for years, where I've also dealt with threats of violence, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this, because I also don't stand with the demagogues that are calling for violence against the left as well.
That's fine. But so if you say that violence is the thing that worries you, if I were to go through your Twitter account, is there a single tweet of yours criticizing the president for his rhetoric?
I don't use Twitter. I don't engage in online rhetoric because I think that it's pointless.
This is an unserious question. It's an unserious
request. It's not an unserious question whatsoever.
This is sea lining 101.
I don't need to use Twitter to be engaged with
politics
politics when I'm part of large political organizations on campus. I'm engaging with my enemies in person, not on the screen. That's what matters.
Just a quick note, if you're not asking a question, you can't be in the aisles. We need them clear for like ADA something. Safety.
Believe me, it's great to meet Destiny. I need both mics. It's a technical issue. Real question here. Sorry, I hate you with the Trump. Believe me, Dusty, you're not the master debater. You never have been. Quite frankly.
We need a question.
Yeah, I'm going to ask a question. Serious question with the name of your movement. It was the first thing that I saw. I knew nothing about your movement. I watched you on my TV earlier this week. I thought what you said was pretty intellectual, and I enjoyed what you said. Why unfuck America? Because my semantic question is, how do you unfuck something? Once you have thoroughly done the deed. No, seriously. Once you have done the deed, it's like the Virgin Mary is no longer a virgin after that point. That's just, I just don't know.
One last question, and then we got to move on.
Do you agree with that sentiment then? Unfuck America. Could you explain what that means to you? Because with Charlie Kirk and Turning Point, he said, we're going to make a turning point in culture for youth. For you, what does unfuck America mean in your words?
For me, personally, I think that right now we are living in, I mean, it's already been demonstrated, completely and totally separate realities at this point, to where we can't even agree on what's happened on either side. And if we have an inability to connect on even basic facts, I don't know how we have any conversation to move literally any aspect of the country forward. So for me, I wish that there was better reporting. I wish that conservatives, weren't so complicit with Donald Trump lying about literally every single thing that comes out of his mouth. I wish that, a lot of the media environment needs to be fixed, especially on the conservative side.
How do you unfuck something? Like, because my feeling as an American is like, we are in this position, right or left. We have fucked the country. How do we unfuck it besides a culture war? And I don't know if you know Curtis Yarvin. He's an obscure figure on the right, and he says there is no winning a culture war. And even being here, I applaud the debate, but how do we win a culture war like this, where it's constantly, like you said, we can't even agree on the same facts? So where do you see this going? How do you unfuck something?
I mean, there's a role for like tons of different people involved. I mean, it might be advocating for a politician you believe in at some local level, state level, federal level. It might be a guy who makes video essays. It might be people that run political clubs on campuses. But I mean, at some point, people in America are going to have to make like better decisions and decisions with more integrity about what it means to be involved in politics, that it's more than just a hobby or a game, or that it's more than just sniping headlines, or that it's more than just telling whatever lie is the most convenient on your side. But I mean, absent people willing to do that, I mean, I guess we just continue to go in the direction we're going.
Can I keep talking?
Okay. You can line back up, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate it. Best of luck.
I wanted to commend you for doing this. Just getting up in front of people and talking instead of violence is exactly what we need and exactly what both sides should be doing. My question was about something you said earlier this week on the Piers Morgan show. You said, if you wanted Charlie Kirk to be alive, Donald Trump shouldn't have been president for a second term. Why would you say that, and what did you mean by that?
Because I think Donald Trump is constantly using the most violent and the most extreme rhetoric possible. I don't understand how you can continually support somebody who, laughs about people dying in boats in Venezuela, who laughs about bombing Iran, even though we're supposed to be the country of no new wars, a guy who, at every opportunity he has to take a different path, he continues to make statements basically encouraging violence. On Fox and Friends, they asked him twice if he would disavow violence, and he can't do it without blaming the left or talking about Joe Biden, who makes jokes about invading other countries, who calls all Democrats radical leftist lunatics, who plays games with FEMA, who won't, even have the basic decency to call Tim Walz and give him some condolences over the assassinated Minnesota senators. I mean, when you're voting for this over and over again and you think it's epic and based and hilarious, and then, the political violence in this country has been ramping up over the past 5 years, and nobody is paying attention to it, because anytime it happens on the right, on the conservative side, you guys memory hole it and you meme it away, and then you come back to hope the next one is about a left-leaning person, and then we'll talk about that, and then here we are. So, how about the Buffalo shooter that had a 180-page manifesto on the Great Replacement theory? Yeah, you don't even remember about this. How about the two people that were killed in Minnesota recently by, it wasn't by a leftist. It wasn't absolutely. The guy told his whole family to register to vote for Trump. Yeah, there's a school shooting that just happened in Colorado. The whole January 6th event from start to finish, all of those convictions were all pardoned by Trump.
That's just going to encourage that.
Sorry, what?
It's going to encourage it if you just keep talking to the crowd.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what we're here for to talk
You
about. Yeah, go ahead.
mentioned the Buffalo shooter. There are such a minuscule fraction of centrists and right-wing people that are going to support somebody like that. That is, some of those things are on the left, but some of them are also on the right. Not everybody. Neither radical is good. But when you go on a show like that and you say, all right, one of the major two parties, there were two candidates. You elected one, and because of that, Charlie Kirk was shot. You should have elected my candidate. That is exactly what it sounds like.
I didn't say
you're
you
saying.
have to elect my candidate. There are other people in the primary as well.
Everything Donald Trump says, I don't agree with a lot of what he says or what he does. He should disavow violence. He should do a lot of these things. But going on there and saying, okay, you voted, half of the country that voted for this, you are the reason Charlie died. You should have not voted for this side of the party. That's exactly what it sounds like on national television.
I mean, I'm sorry if that's offensive, but at some point when we grow up, we have to realize that politics isn't just a game. It's offensive. You're offended. You're upset about it, and you should be. But when you vote for people, you're voting for very real things to happen. People getting deported from the country isn't a joke. Doing terrorists that are destroying parts of our economy isn't a joke. Yeah, I mean, clap away for it, dipshit. I mean, that's on you. I mean, even you guys as fucking fiancés are getting deported, and you guys are, laughing at people going on about it. It's absolutely insane. So, but I mean, as long as you're willing to clap and laugh and joke about it, that's fine. But don't be surprised, like, when other crazy stuff continues to happen in the country. Like, it's the direction that you're pushing things. So.
Hold these both? Oh, okay. Sorry, one sec. A little stage fright, and we'll get them out.
Just come a little bit more forward. We'll just scooch the line up.
So real quick, I just wanted to ask, this is kind of the same thing as the last one, so I'll try to be brief, but, I saw some comments from you saying that, in regards to, events like the Charlie Kirk shooting, that conservatives should be afraid to go to such events. Now,
so
just
hold on, wait, just because this quote,
please
I like
don't interrupt me, good sir.
You can talk as much as you want, okay? The full quote, if you listen to what I'm saying, are we here to talk, or are you here to just fucking meme? If you're going to misquote me, I'm going to correct you, right? I think, thank you, yes. Let me speak. Thank you. What I'm saying is that
I'm gonna get
everybody,
I promise.
Sir, I don't make 30-second videos. I don't know what you saw on Jesse Waters. Okay? Can I have my one-on-one conversation? Can I have my one-on-one conversation, please? Let me have my one-on-one conversation. Okay? What I said was.
Hold on.
Hey! I want the speaker. I want to honor his time. So I need you guys to if you want to talk to Stephen, just come up in the line, okay? I want to honor the speaker's time.
No,
all I'm saying is that everybody should be afraid of political violence. It's not good. Nobody should cheer it on, yeah.
I'm sorry, I was speaking, It must have been hard to tell because you were talking. But, now. All right, settle down. I'm not that funny. Now, in regard to those comments which I just mentioned, I guess first, how is that on fucking America? Second, that seems like a horrible thing to say. And third, was it worth getting fired from Twitch?
So my Twitch ban was 3 years ago. You're the dipshits that fell for that because you couldn't bother to fact check anything, like you don't do with any conservative media. Ironically enough, the thing I was banned from Twitch for had to do with attacking trans people, so, double irony there. For your other two questions, I never made that quote, so I have nothing to respond to. So what's the next person?
Yep.
Oh,
all right.
Oh, yeah?
Then what about the lawsuit right now for showing some girl's nudes to someone that you're
Listen, anybody can file a civil lawsuit for any reason. What about the lawsuit where your president was held civilly liable for raping a woman? Seems like you don't care much about lawsuits, so go do the next one. I thought it was one question, right? I don't need this guy. Yeah, go do the next one. Next question.
Next question.
Now, go for it.
Who says I voted for him?
Hi, Destiny. Thank you for seeing me. I appreciate it. And this has got to be pretty surreal after what's happened. But my one question to you is actually evolving around what you did say on your platform. And my question is, when you said that conservatives should be afraid, what was your intended message behind that? Because when I watched you, hold up, wait 1 second, please. Because when I watched you say that, the way that you said that doesn't seem like a good message to spread to anybody.
Sure. So where did you see me say that at?
It was online. I can't remember. I don't know if it was Twitch or
so it
whatever.
Definitely wasn't my stream. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I saw it.
No, that's fine. But this is part of the problem.
So why did you
is
say
that,
conservatives should be afraid? I saw the full context. It wasn't snipped. You said that word for word.
Why do you think I said it?
I want to ask you. That's why I'm here.
No, I'm asking you. I want a good faith.
It is your thought. I want to know what you meant, Destiny. You made the statement, not I. I'm asking for clarity. So tell me.
Okay. for a side that can have endless interpretation and charity for every single instance.
can't
I'm getting
you
to the.
tell
I'm
me
getting.
what
I'm trying to
you
answer your
mean?
question, but it's a deeply unserious question given the endless amount of
very
charity you
serious
have
question
for
you're
every
asking me.
unbelievably insane statement that was said on your side from literally every single
if-
conservative
what
figure I've
if-
seen talk.
I'm
So what I meant
asking-
was, I'm
You don't
answering
know
your
what
question.
side I am on,
I'm
Destiny.
answering. I'm answering your
asking you a
question.
genuine question.
Can I
for a
answer? Can I?
conversation.
Yeah. Can I
Will
answer
you
the question?
answer it then?
Yeah, I'm answering it right now, but you're talking. You must not have heard me because you were speaking at the same time.
Please,
Okay?
tell
Yeah.
me.
So the answer is that everybody in this country should be afraid of political violence. It's not good when we start killing each other because of politics. That's a really bad thing. And it feels like right now the conservative side isn't asking anybody on their side to tone it down. So it seems like they're not worried about political violence. That's the issue. You guys have all this energy for everybody on the left about disavowing political violence, and you have nothing to say to your leader, to the leader of your party.
What? You didn't answer my question. What was your intended
just
meaning
told you.
behind it? No, you said everybody should, everybody should. Was your intention behind it? Why did you say it?
The intention is that people need to realize that political violence doesn't look good for anybody in this country. People need to have that understanding. People need to have that aware. People need to be afraid that, like, a civil war is not a fun thing. People killing each other
That's
over
not
political.
how you said it.
Why are you asking me for my thoughts? Why don't you just fill in the blanks then? Go ahead. No, but we're
Thank you
just
for your
playing Mad
time.
Libs right now. Yeah, you go ahead and post it yourself. Deeply unserious.
Hi, I was just wondering what you would think about how if John Lennon was alive, and think about what just happened, and the fact that we're not doing anything to respect his legacy, and the fact that we're freaking pissing on his grave.
Wait, John Lennon?
Yes,
I'm gonna
he
be
was
honest.
an activist.
Well, I hated the Beatles. I don't have anything good to say. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion about John Lennon. I'm sorry.
I can't hold it. I like to, So what is your name exactly? Who are you?
Stephen Bonnell.
Okay. So I understand you're trying to get your 50 minutes of fame, but it's fucking disrespectful.
It's 15 years, but go ahead.
Okay. Before I ask you fucking questions, I want to understand what kind of person you are. How many genders are there?
However many you want there to be. I don't know what.
Oh, how many are there?
Well, I thought it was male and female, but apparently after today it's male, female, and snowflake, so I guess I'd go with 3.
I bet you have really high estrogen levels, don't you?
I don't know why. Do you want to fuck me? What, do you have a question, or Jesus Christ? You guys think about trans people more than the people that... Jesus.
You got a question? For real? I'm going to take it if you don't.
Do Black Lives Matter?
Sure. Why?
Thank you.
Whoa, she's trying to silence me.
Yeah, true. Come on. We're done.
That's what y'all do. Y'all silence people because y'all can't fucking handle the truth.
Who's silencing? Jimmy Kimmel just got kicked off ABC because... Yeah, there it is. They'll cheer for it. Party of free speech, by the way.
Matter. Charlie Kirk's fucking life matter.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I just request for this question, just no heckling, because I just want to have like a real conversation here. Like, I'm not here to attack anyone, or if they say I'm right or anyone's wrong. I'm trying to just bring about a constructive dialogue. I want to abandon this partisan bullshit that is making people homicidal towards each other. We're not heading in a good direction as we see here. People are angry. People are pissed. I saw what happened last week. It was horrifying. I couldn't believe it. And I saw everyone mocking his death, pissing on his grave, and that was horrible. And then I saw everyone on the right getting even more pissed off and radicalized and angry and hurling slurs at each other, saying horrible things back and forth. And I've never seen anything like that in my life. And how do we just form that peaceful dialogue? How do we get through this, bro? Because we're on the verge of a civil war. I wouldn't have come here otherwise. I'm fucking scared. I came here all the way from Florida. I want to get through this.
I mean, nobody likes the answer, but I mean, like, the right has to be willing to take accountability for things and to, like, disavow violence.
We all have
on
to
their side.
condemn all political violence across the spectrum.
We've been doing that. The left has been doing that for the past decade.
We all have to.
It's not, you can't, it's, the both sides thing just doesn't work anymore. It's like a boat rowing with one paddle. Like, the left can row harder and harder, but we're still going to go around in circles until the right is willing to actually come out and say, hey, everybody, including us, everybody needs to tone it down. I'm not even saying it to say themselves personally. Like, everybody has to do it. Donald Trump cannot condemn violence in this country without also talking about the radical left and Joe Biden. He can't do it.
Agreed, and I wish she would stop that rhetoric. Even though I understand that, and there's a lot of left-wing radicalism and right-wing radicalism. I see it online, and the truth is, I think that there's a lot of left and right-wing fringes, right, that are comprised of minors and shit. And I think they just get really radicalized, and they see the other fringes, right? They see the other side, and they radicalize each other, and they start believing that everyone on the right of their spectrum is like that. And you start getting these radicalized kids doing this shit, like we just saw last week, murdering Charlie Kirk, bro. I think it's a real conversation that needs to be had. I just want to...
Yeah, but the problem is we have to have an honest conversation about it. The reality is, when there was supposedly a threat from Iran to assassinate Trump, Biden increased his Secret Service detail. After the assassination attempt against Trump, which was by a registered Republican, Joe Biden didn't make it political. He allotted even more security to Donald Trump, and he told everybody in the United States they needed to calm down. After this last shooting happened with Charlie Kirk, in 12 hours, the right wing had spun up, including Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and Nancy Mace and Steven Crowder and Matt Walsh and every other alternative media online had spun up an entire conspiracy theory about who the guy was before we knew anything about it. Both sides are not equal here. The right has an inability to critically analyze itself. They think that they're righteous in all of their anger and in all of their fury, and as long as that's going to be a driving force, one side can't force civility. It has to come from both sides. So until somebody's willing to sit down and have an honest conversation about that, we're just going to keep... Yeah, no.
I agree. But that's
Charlie Kirk is on his program talking about Joe Biden being executed for treason. I'm sorry, but you're delusional if you think your side has done anything to try to turn down the violence. It's just not true.
And that conversation that you want to have, I also want to have. I mean, are we going to be talking after this? Is there going to be groups after? I genuinely just want to have a conversation about this, get full context. Because the truth is, let me just say one thing. It's crazy how on social media, you one or two right-wing posts, all you see is everything from the right, and vice versa. You one or two left-wing posts, all you see is from the left. And I think that the mainstream media, bro, I think that social media, I think it's specifically designed to just kind of program us to hate each other and beat each other's throats, and so we don't focus on the common enemy at the top, And I just really, I don't want any violence, but this talks of civil war, this anger, this wrath I'm seeing, we gotta tone it down. We don't want to live in a bloodbath. That's not good for anyone.
I mean, I agree 100%. Yeah.
That's all I'm here to really say. That's just my main point. And I want us to get through this. I want us all to get through this as a country. I'm fucking scared. I wouldn't have come all the way here from Florida if I wasn't so fucking scared. I've never seen anything like that, on my timeline. I just couldn't believe it. And also, let me just say, I think we need to just stop going after one another and targeting each other, because the truth is, when we start going after each other and cornering each other, we're kind of forcing our adversaries to become more radical, more irrational, because now their lives are at risk. You know what I mean? Now there's a conflict of interest. So if you really want to have an honest conversation about this and get through this as a nation, I think we need to stop, piling on each other, calling for people to go to prison. I'm not about that. Obviously a lot of people across the political spectrum sometimes get carried away and will say things that could imply violence, but I don't think we need to go down that road of imprisoning everything, because we don't want to go down that road. So let's just temper everything down and have a conversation. That's all I want.
Yeah, I hope we can all do that. Yeah.
I'm not scared. I'm proud to be an American. I'm really grateful that you're here to have this conversation. And I think that you're right. I think that we're living in two different realities from the right and the left. For a long time, I was on the left, and I've been a registered independent my entire life. And then after January 6th, actually, I became way more conservative, and I support the right. And in my opinion, looking and listening to what Charlie Kirk had to say, which I listen to him all the time, I don't think he was spreading any hate at all. I think he was stating the truth, that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the light. And I also feel that Donald Trump did in fact condemn this violence inside of his initial address when Charlie Kirk was first shot, or whenever he was pronounced dead, and then he addressed the nation. He said that there's no room for political violence on either side. Now, certainly, just like as we know Charlie Kirk was starting to see the truth and opening his eyes, we don't support Trump, and we do see him as probably compromised. I mean, the majority of people who supported him do see this, but that doesn't change the fact that how are we supposed to have civil conversations? How do you want to unfuck America? Somebody asked you that in good faith, and I didn't hear a really good answer from you. And I don't understand how we're living on two different realities, because I would love to understand and see the facts that you're seeing. I just don't see it. Like, I see more. You were talking about Kamala Harris, and you're like, how many people were pardoned from the BLM riots? How much money did Kamala Harris raise in order to get them out of jail?
Like
how many
none.
of them
She
weren't
tweeted
even
like none.
prosecuted?
She tweeted, what do you think Kamala Harris did in terms of raising money for people?
Oh, well, it was still on her Twitter. Like
Kamala Harris
this last
tweeted like
year.
one thing saying like, here's a bail fund to donate to. I think I got like
Yeah,
100
exactly.
likes.
Well, no, but you're sitting here talking about how it's important for Donald Trump to use his platform.
There's nothing
to
wrong
whatever.
with bailing-
Listen, but Kamala Harris used hers to get people who were committing violence out of the jail. So irregardless, they weren't even getting prosecuted. So
Oh.
let's move on from this.
Sure. Well,
Please
hold on.
tell
So
me how we're going to unfuck. Go ahead.
First, well, yeah. So number one, a lot of people did get prosecuted related to BLM riots. Number one. Number two, there's nothing wrong with a bail fund. If somebody wants to raise money to bail people out, that's fine. Number three, if you want to talk about horrific statements related to bail funds, Charlie Kirk was literally saying that people should do a bail for the guy that attacked Paul Pelosi, and then it'd be funny to bail him out of jail and ask him a bunch of questions, which was infinitely more disgusting than just tweeting a link to a bail fund from Kamala Harris's account.
Whatever. If you want to say that that's worse, that's okay. That's for you to see it. But how am I supposed to find the facts the way that you do? Because to me, it seems like you're a byproduct of the liberal indoctrination that's taking over this nation.
Well, I mean, the problem is you'll never see it because most people, Charlie Kirk included, are too scared to have critical conversations about it. So all
He
you
wasn't
do is
scared.
you're
He literally died to do so. How
talking
dare
to college
you?
kids.
What?
Talking to college kids.
Who
Why don't you
are
see
you
any
talking to
conservatives?
right now?
Why don't you see any college kids aren't the only people that I talk to.
Oh my gosh, this is the same talking point. Hold
this
on.
is not the same talking point.
Hecklers in the back. Give
Why
me a
aren't you
second.
talking-
I'm on a roll here. Give me a second. Listen, we already heard these talking points when you were on Piers Morgan. We already
Why
heard
don't
these
you
talking
see-
points.
why
So
don't
why
you
don't you
see-
give us a legitimate answer?
I
How
think-
do you want to unfuck America? I'll unfuck America with you. Let's go.
Sure,
How's
here-
it going to
sure.
happen?
How about you have people debate more than just unprepared college kids? How about you have conservatives actually step up and accept debates from people like me, Sam Cedar, from other people in the media who are
Okay,
willing
great.
to have
I'm
the
here
conversations?
right now. Let's go.
What?
Let's set up more events. I'm here right now. Let's
No,
go.
yeah, sure. Give me any debater you want in the world, and I will debate them on any topic related to
Yeah,
our
with
current
your
political discourse.
whataboutisms and coming back
What
up
about-
with
what do you
this
mean,
is so much
whataboutisms? We
worse
can sit
coming
here with
from
as
the
much
other
time to
side.
prepare as you
I
want, with
haven't
as
heard
many notes
anything
as you
of
want.
substance, sir. I'm okay to change my mind, but I haven't heard anything worth it.
What do you want?
How
I
do
mean,
you want to
what
fix
do you want me to go
America?
through? We can go through January 6th if you want. Donald Trump and his administration openly said that they were going to circumvent the Electoral Count Act. They openly said they wanted to break the law. They fabricated 7 different certificates of electors from 7 different states. They had them submit them to Mike Pence to beg him to vote for Trump to be president instead of the people who rightfully won. He called every single person to the Capitol on January 6th with the hopes of having a violent insurrection, which he did, in the hopes of delaying the Electoral Count Act, which he did for the first time in all of U.S. history. And while he sat there and watched the Capitol burn, a man who said that he couldn't call the D.C. police there, even though now he's done it without D.C. really wanting it, he sat there and he watched it burn. He tried to take advantage of the circumstances in order to get the election, voted his way. And then after all of it failed, after everybody went to jail, after people were convicted of stuff, including of seditious conspiracy, he came into the White House and he pardoned all of them. I mean, like, these are facts that aren't even contested. All the charging documents are public. The jury decisions are public. Everything about this is public. There's nothing...
Exactly. Well, and there's more to that whole story, and that's a regurgitation of everything that's being perpetuated by the media. But if you look at the facts of that day and the way that everything lines up, actually, we don't have the full details in story. Those people were walking through as if it was a White House tour. I know a bunch of people that were there that day, and it wasn't an insurrection. That's a really bad insurrection if nobody had a gun.
Why? It was a successful insurrection. They delayed the count of the vote. They delayed the certification of the vote for the first time in U.S. history. That was a successful delay. What do you mean? It worked.
What worked? And
They
that was
managed
an
to delay the
insurrection?
certification of the vote.
That was not an insurrection.
They delayed the certification of the vote. That was the goal for them going there, no? What else would they protest? It was January 6th. It was time to certify
No,
the
that's
vote.
not what they were protesting. They were protesting the efficacy of the election.
The election was already over. Trump had 62 court cases. He lost every single one.
No, they did not
besides
lose
one.
every single one. He wasn't seen, and the adequate details weren't actually brought up. And I actually work in cyber, and what was brought up in that Arizona court is a bunch of baloney, and they adequately had proof that there was malicious intention, and it was the logs from that NAC should have been able to be retrieved, and they were only deleted from the time it was supposed to be
I
turned
mean, if
off.
you're not willing to believe the courts, if you're not willing to believe the J6 committee that was bipartisan, if you're not willing to believe a number of independent investigators, media people that have all looked into it, you're not going to believe anything besides what you see on, I don't know, on Breitbart or
No,
on...
sir, I don't agree with you. I ask critical questions, and that's the reason why I'm still open to all of this here, and that's the reason why I'm skeptical, and I'm not going to believe what the mass media is telling me.
Just the mass media on the right. You just happen to have the exact
No,
same
sir,
opinion
I
as
don't-
every
I
single
don't-
right-winger on this issue. Just randomly, that's where you wound
That's
up.
not true. That's absolutely not true. And that's all you got. That's your big guns. I'll pray for you. I really wish you the best. Thank you.
So, So first of all, Destiny, I do agree with you. People do live in two different realities because one side can tell us that there's only two genders, male and female, and the other side doesn't know how many there are. I'm going to start there. But my question to you is this. If Charlie Kirk was such a harmful figure to America, then why did his death trigger such a massive outpouring of support across political lines, even from people who never agreed with him? And I'm one of those. There are several issues with Charlie that I disagreed with, but doesn't that prove that he tapped into something real about the failures of our system that you are unwilling to acknowledge?
No.
No. So here's proof you were unwilling to acknowledge it. You went on Piers Morgan and said that you wouldn't disavow his death until the President of the United States did it first. Why would you care what a man you didn't even vote for have to say first before you disavow
Because
his
he's
death?
my president. Because he's supposed to be president for all Americans.
Destiny? You didn't vote for the
Doesn't
man.
matter. He's still my president. I wouldn't
okay.
want Joe Biden to encourage violence against people on the right, which he didn't.
But
I
your
wouldn't want him to
argument-
revoke security clearances or security details for people on the right, which he didn't. So why can't Donald Trump do the same for me? He's supposed to be president for all Americans,
he did,
no?
though. The young lady that was just up here before me said that right after it happened, he said we need to not have political
That's not
violence on
true.
the
He
left or
said the
right.
radical left Democrats were the ones causing it. I've
Well,
seen
the one
every
that
clip of
killed
him
Charlie
doing
was
it.
a radical leftist.
You don't know that? You have no
we
idea.
do know that. That's what came out
Yeah,
of
a
the-
radical
that's what
leftist
came
with
out.
no crazy chat history, with no evidence of radicalization, with no anything.
So you haven't seen any of the evidence that has already come out that admitted that he was a man that had become radicalized. His own father stated he became radicalized within the last year and a half. And
Where?
he stated that what do you mean where?
Where did he become? Where are the logs, the chat message, anything of him being radicalized anywhere? Where's a single
You
radical
go look
statement
at-
this guy's made?
First of all, go look at Candace Owens. She's already started the investigation. Secondly, this is already public information.
none
His
of this is
father was the one that already turned him in, and his father stated this was happening. And what was the guy's name that he's dating? I forget the guy's. Was it Lance Twiggs? Is that it, Lance Twiggs? He cooperated with police, and that was the man's boyfriend. And he stated that he noticed that Tyler was becoming more and more radical as time was passing. Yes, he was raised in a Republican environment, but he drifted further and further to the left. So why can't you stand there and admit that there are radical leftists that want to see people like Charlie put in the ground? And by the way, you know what's so interesting?
Hold on, but these are two different questions. If you're going to ask me to tell you that there are radical left people that would do violence in this country, of course there are. We've seen them before. I'm not going to sit here and deny that. That's obviously true.
would deny
Do
it
you
on
admit?
Piers
Hold on.
Morgan.
Do you admit that there are radical right people that do
They're
violence as
absolutely
well?
radical white people, but that is not the point, Destiny. You literally went on one of the largest platforms that we know of on Piers Morgan.
And I said that
stated
I want
you
to
would
disavow
not-
violence, and I want the president of the United
You
States to do
shouldn't
it
have
as well.
to wait for a man you didn't vote for.
When
to
you guys
disavow
don't
political
do it,
violence.
you have to have the other side do it. It can't be one side doing it. Why don't you understand
When the
that?
president of the United States gets on television and disavows it immediately after it happens, that's not
He
good
didn't
enough.
disavow
So what
it. He blamed
exactly
the
is
other
it that you
side
want
over
Trump
and
to
over again.
say?
On Fox and Friends, they begged him to disavow 2 separate times, and he couldn't
begged
do
Trump
it.
to do it?
What?
Who begged him to
I don't
disavow?
know. Whoever the names of the guys on Fox and Friends are. They
You
said,
don't
"Hey,
know it, but now you can
they
say
said
it.
Charlie Kirk's fans want revenge. What do we do?" And
You know
and-
what's so interesting as a black man? One thing I noticed about Charlie Kirk's death, there wasn't rioting in the streets like it was after George Floyd. That's the one thing that I noticed about Charlie Kirk's death. And it's so interesting that you want to cherry pick and nitpick and use odd examples that benefit you, but you deliberately want to have blind vision to see that the radical left ideology that has been influencing this country for the past
why
20
did the
years
DOJ
led to the
why did
death
the
of Charlie
DOJ
Kirk.
Why did the DOJ remove from their website the study on radical, politically inspired violence over the past decade? Why'd they take that down?
I have no knowledge.
You don't
of
know
that
anything
to
about
be
that?
remotely
No?
true.
Okay,
I have
well,
no
yeah.
knowledge of that.
How
even to be
convenient.
remotely
I don't know
true.
anything about what you're talking about. I don't
Of
know
course,
any
of
BLM
course you
riots.
don't, because when
Yeah,
the
sorry,
fact-
I didn't follow that.
because
I don't
you
know
wanna
any of
live
that
in
information.
fiction over facts,
Yeah.
and this is
What do
why
you
we
think
live
about
in
the
two different
Buffalo
realities.
shooter, that 180-page manifesto about the Great Replacement Theory that went and shot and killed and live streamed itself killing black people inside of
I
a
think
supermarket?
that's wrong, Destiny. I think
Okay,
that's
why
wrong.
can't the president say this?
He already said it, but he
has
didn't
not
say it
said
good
it.
enough
They
for
don't
you,
disavow.
apparently.
Why is it that in the Oval Office, when somebody asked him, they said, when you guys are having this Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk, the flag being flown at half-staff, why nothing about any of the lawmakers in Minnesota that were shot? And he said, I don't know anything about that. I didn't hear anything about that. How is that possible?
What do you mean, how is that possible?
How
I
is it
didn't say-
possible
I
that the
didn't say I
president
didn't know
of the
anything
United
about that.
You didn't know anything about it because he
I
didn't
say I
tell you
know
about it.
anything
That's the
about
whole point. That's the
Destiny.
problem. You don't know what he doesn't tell you to know about.
Destiny.
He
No.
tells you to care about illegal
No.
immigrants and trans
I don't-
people,
I
and you
don't
guys are up
follow-
here talking about girl dick all day. Like, of course. What do you mean?
Destiny.
I've had 3 of you guys up here talking about how many genders there are. Like, you guys are in your bedrooms thinking about this all day long. It's crazy to me.
I'm gonna say this. It amazes me. It absolutely amazes me the state of delusion that the far right, the far leftists live in. You can't even admit that what happened to Kirk, you literally stated, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna be done. You literally stated that Charlie Kirk would not have been assassinated if Trump wouldn't have been elected to a second term. If you don't think that's violent language, then I don't even know what the point is.
How is that? Is it violent language when Charlie Kirk said, "I think that Biden should be executed for treason"? He never said that. That's the okay. Yeah, we really don't know anything when the right is radical. Okay.
I can't help. I'm going to ask you 2 questions, okay? Is that okay with you, Destiny?
Yeah, whatever you want.
What are your thoughts on transgenders?
I don't think about transgenders.
Do you think transgenders should be able to own guns?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's
You
an American
guess?
Second Amendment right. Yeah.
You
sure.
guess?
It's a Second Amendment right. No.
Why do they keep on shooting fucking schools then?
Well, aren't the most common school shooters white guys? Do you think white men should be disallowed from owning guns?
Do you think that being transgender is a mental illness?
I don't have an opinion on it for this
think-
audience right now.
Do you
Who do you think? Do you think most school shooters were white men?
It's all part of the narrative, dude.
Yeah,
That's-
the narrative
it's
is
all
you not
part of
answering
the
my
narrative,
question.
and you
Yeah.
know it.
Go ahead, preach. We're in church
You
right
know
now.
it.
Go ahead.
They said that the guy that shot Charlie was a Republican.
Can you answer me this? If trans people are such effective assassins, why'd we kick them all out of the military?
Looking at this one right here, I want to get this fucking thing
Are
a
you
gun.
serious, dude? Get the fuck out of here. Get this fucking loser out of here. Are you serious? Why are you pointing out people in the audience and bullying people? Are you serious? Bully me. I'm up here, okay? Make fun of me, all right?
What's up, not so erudite? Hi. What's up, Stephen?
Hey, what's up, man?
I have noticed as people are talking, you've got a lot of caricatures. You think they get their information from certain echo chambers. You think everyone here has a certain voting pattern or party affiliation. I just want you to know that I was a lifelong Democrat. I was raised by Democrats because apparently that matters. And I knocked my knuckles bloody for Democratic candidates all throughout my teens and early 20s before I eventually came to be where I am now. What I've found is that I've actually read and digested a lot more information from across the spectrum than a lot of the people that have started to recently call me names. But here's my point. In school, we were all taught that Nazis are bad, right? Fascism is the ultimate evil, and we should do anything to stop fascism by any means necessary. A lot of us internalized that message, and around 2016, I started to see that message becoming weaponized against other people within this country. It turned internal. It started with Punch a Nazi. I remember the distinction very clearly. I remember looking at some of my friends who used to agree with me about things like free speech and having them explain to me why it was valid to punch a Nazi, etc. And I can see a very clear chain up to where we are today, even if you don't. So here's my question, Stephen. What is a Nazi?
Like in the historical sense or in the current, what do you...
What is a Nazi to you today in America? Because I've heard you use that term a lot. What do you mean when you call people Nazis?
There's a reason that our country accounts for 70% of feminicides in the most wealthy countries in our nation. That's the killing of women because they are women. There's a reason that we have a missing and murdered Indigenous women's crisis. Our Indigenous women are missing and murdered at alarming rates. There's a reason that black people keep getting shot by our police again and again and again. There's a reason that we have homeless people dying on our streets. There's a reason that we have kids dying in our schools. This is political violence. What I also want to say is I've heard you debate with these people, with our community members. All of us are members of this community, and all I've heard is just further polarization of saying, no, it's you on the right causing this. It's your leader. I don't care who, our leaders are because they don't care about us. If they cared about us, we would not be having our women killed. We would not be having our community members dying on the street. We would not all be working our asses off and not able to pay our families to have food. We would not all be working our asses off and not be able to afford health care. None of these people, care about us. So how can we all agree on something? Who cares what they think up there? Who cares what our politicians think? What's something that we all can agree on as a nation to just, fuck them, let's get together, and what can we work on together?
In the United States of America, every individual is allotted a single vote, and that is an awesome responsibility that I feel like, for some reason, a lot of the country has neglected lately. The idea that both sides are the same in terms of policy for helping the average person is just not true. Kamala Harris had an idea related to tax credits for children. You can laugh if you don't have any kids, that's fine. But for people that need the money, like, the stuff matters, right? When Biden was president, we had an extended child tax credit. That went away under conservatives. When Biden was president, we weren't, pushing to renew all of the Trump tax cuts for wealthy people, which Trump did. And now apparently the deficit that was supposed to be a big deal doesn't matter anymore. All of the help is going to wealthier people. All of the help is going to businesses. All of the help is going to bailing out his friends. When we tried to get a single-payer option, or at least like a public option in the United States, it wasn't Democrats that stood against that. It was the Republicans. The ACA that we only got that much of it because the Democrats were willing to push for it. So if your take is just, and I understand it, especially for young people who haven't interfaced much, I guess, with the world outside of school, but even for school loans and stuff, it's not like Democrats are the ones trying to get rid of those. It's Republicans that are trying to fight against higher education.
No, it's both, man. It's both. And
Okay.
I asked
you
about
can
what's
think
something
but,
that we can agree on. You talked about politicians. So I'll answer myself. Something that we all can agree on together is that we love our nation. You got to love something before you can fix it. We love these beautiful mountains out here in Colorado, our rivers, everything. We love it. So whatever. He's not going to answer, but I'll answer.
If you don't have a strong opinion on it, then don't vote. I voted 10 times for Biden. All of my legal names. There it is, yep.
Hi, Destiny. So since kind of the 1970s, 1980s, kind of through the 1990s, we've seen this deindustrialization in the United States, and it's led to the complete downturn and downfall of a lot of places, especially in the Midwest. And I think, both political parties have kind of abandoned a lot of these people, especially in places like Gary, Indiana. So my question is, what do you think the government or politicians should do to help support these communities? Because I think they're just kind of forgotten about completely, but they're Americans, they're hard workers who lost their jobs, and I think these are people struggling from opioid abuse, drug addiction, alcoholism, all this stuff, and I think they just need help.
Are you familiar with the Obama's quote, they cling to their religion and their guns? You heard that one before?
I have, yes, sir.
You have any idea what the context of that quote is?
I am not, sir, no.
So in 2008, Obama was in it was a closed-door conversation he was having with donors, and one of the things that came up was Obama had felt like over the past decades, since NAFTA basically, that there was this hollowing out of the industrial base in kind of the middle class in the Midwest especially, and in kind of the Rust Belt. And he said that administration after administration had ignored basically the needs of these people, that they didn't have jobs that they could work anymore, they didn't have things that they could contribute to and feel proud of, that these places that were these massive manufacturing centers of cars, places like Detroit, were hollowed out and they had nothing. And he said that in that environment it shouldn't surprise people that they cling to religion and their guns and become anti-immigrant or whatever else, because it feels like the entire world has left them behind. Obama was, and I feel like the Democrats have been willing to have that conversation. Coming into office, McConnell said his goal was to make Democrat a one-term president. And McConnell said that was his goal for Obama, was to make him a one-term president. And you've seen over and over again, when Trump was in office in term one, there was nothing in terms of legislation. There was I think they got the tax cuts, and then I think some first step back for crime, but nothing really. They wanted to do an infrastructure bill, they couldn't do it. They talked about repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, they couldn't do it. There was just nothing. Biden comes in, and aside from the American Rescue Plan, which fills the coffers of every single state and local government budget, we had the Infrastructure Act, we had the Inflation Reduction Act, we had so much legislation that poured so much money into so many different projects, and now that Trump is back, we have nothing again. He's trying to defund some of the investments that were made for that. He's trying to take credit for other parts, and now he's tariffed every single country in the world, which is just going to hurt. Again, like the middle class, it's causing a rise in inflation, an increase in unemployment at the same time, and a decrease in our GDP, the overall amount of stuff we're making. All I'm trying to say is, I know it's boring numbers, but this problem, making progress in our country from the governmental front, will never be fixed when it feels like one side treats politics as a reality TV show that's just here to get clicks over and over again for it. I feel like the Democratic Party, I can point to legislation, I can point to policies, I can point to positions, I can point to things they've done to measurably improve what's going on in this country. And then on the Republican side, it's all just a big joke. It's just executive orders renaming the Department of Defense the Department of War, videos of Noam Christie in front of immigration cages. How is Alligator Alcatraz supposed to help manufacturing in the Rust Belt? Or, you know, how is another bombing of Iran for Israel supposed to help us, you know, make more cars or bring back some kind of decency to the middle class? Like, I don't know. I just don't see, I don't know why people keep equating the same sides on both of these places.
Listen, I agree, and I think I was talking about how I feel. I agree there's, you know, it may lean more towards Republicans, absolutely. I'm not, you know, like a Republican or anything. But I'm more curious about what you think. I understand the policies of the Democrats. I understand the policies or ideas of the Republicans. I'm curious what you think about this issue. Frankly, I don't want to hear about Trump or Biden. I understand their policies. I support some of the stuff Biden did, absolutely, but I want to hear your position, please. That's all I'm asking for, respectfully.
I mean, in regards specifically to manufacturing?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think,
sorry,
I think
you're right.
one of the issues, I mean, depending on the conversation, one of the issues is we have to understand that there are certain ways that the economy is modernizing, and it will probably never take a step back. Like, even if we bring back manufacturing now, like, those jobs are going to engineers or people, you know, manning robots or whatever. So the problem is that, like, the tempting thing to say on the Democratic side is there needs to be some kind of, like, welfare redistribution or whatever to people that are in these cities in order to, you know, help them who can't work because they can't keep up with whatever the current economy is. But the reality is nobody really wants that, right? Like, if you have a job and you create things, you don't want to just be a welfare recipient who does nothing. Like, you want some kind of job or something to work at. I feel like there could be, like, it has to be some kind of investment into some combination of, like, education or job training, but it has to be geared towards, like, a certain group of people. But it has to be, like, an honest conversation. It can't just be, you know, like, I think for a while liberals were, you know, like, oh, everybody can just go learn to code. Like, that's probably not going to happen. But also on the other side, it can't just be, well, we're just going to tariff the entire world until we manufacture things at home again. Like, that's not going to happen either. Even if we did manufacture things here, it's going to be robots making them. So, yeah, it would be some complicated, probably combination of retraining and education and investment in, like, certain regions of the country, but that would be the way forward, yeah.
Well, I appreciate your answer, and I'd also like to say quickly I agree that I don't think manufacturing can go back. I think we're decades past that. So, yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks for the question.
Okay. Hey, so we talked on stream last week, and I think you can tell I'm a progressive. Anything you're about to say about Trump, like, we both agree on that. You're preaching to the choir. So I don't think that your disavowal is going to change his rhetoric. That's very obvious. What I'm curious is what your end goal is. If you're trying to hold up a mirror to the Trump administration, are you trying to advocate that our politicians have the same rhetoric of not disavowing violence? Because the way I see this, you have a very influential position. You've got an audience of people who are willing to hear you. And when we were on stream together, it sounded to me like you said Republicans should be more afraid. You can tell these people it was out of context. Maybe I misinterpreted you. But if I'm charitable to you and I hear that, what do you think the millions of people who hear you are going to see? Because I see that just as dangerous as Hassan promoting a Houthi who you rail against.
Yeah, I don't think it's a serious question. I think that because I don't believe that you can have that feeling and then watch Donald Trump go on air over and over.
You're preaching to the choir. Please, can you do it without talking about Donald Trump? I think everything you're about to say about Trump is true.
I think I've made my position clear a million times. I think I've disavowed violence a million fucking times.
Okay, but
I've
why
said
are you not
over and
doing
over
it
again.
now?
What?
Why not?
I have before. I have in the past.
Okay.
I will not be going to.
What's your goal? Is it for clicks?
My
Is it
goal is
for-
I would
is it to
rather
hold
fight
up a
about
mirror?
this and have some semblance of sanity carved out than allow conservatives to hijack another shooting that if it turns out they don't get the ooh bulgy wulgy trans manifesto that they really want, that they're just going to memory hole this one into non-existence like they have every other instance of conservative violence.
Okay, so why
Like,
not
I would
just-
rather
why not
fight
just do
here.
that?
I would rather fight here, and I would rather have, for the few people that are left with some semblance of sanity, watch a bunch of people come up to me and say, Destiny, you YouTube influencer, I care more about your opinion on political
Yeah, but
violence
I'm not saying
than
you
Donald
understand.
Trump.
I'm not saying
Then
that.
that's fine. Then I don't care about what you
your
do. Fine,
influence.
then go look to
I
somebody
care
else
about
for
your
it.
influence.
Sure.
I care the way
If
that
you-
if I can take you and I can be charitable to you and I can still say, whoa, this is unhinged. This person might be saying something incredibly dangerous. This person has millions of people. This person is becoming the conservative straw man on Piers Morgan, on CNN, and all these places.
Yeah.
That someone in his audience might take the wrong message from that and do something bad with that. So
What do you think
don't see
Jimmy
that's
Kimmel
dangerous?
said to get kicked off of ABC?
Why are you bringing up things that you
Because
and I
I'm
agree
telling
on?
you that it doesn't matter
I
what you
agree.
say
It
on the
does
left.
No,
It
it matters what
doesn't
you
matter.
say to your
It
audience.
doesn't matter.
It absolutely matters. Do you think that it's okay for Hassan to say, I support the Houthi terrorists?
Not only do I not think it's okay to say that, you know, Elon Musk and everybody else posting tweets about the gun tweet that he made. You know where
Yeah.
that tweet? Do you know where that post came from?
Yeah, it
It
was-
came from my subreddit.
Okay.
So yeah, of course, I've been calling out political violence for as long as I've been a streamer. Obviously, I don't want to get killed at
And
some
so you
event. I
think-
don't want
you
anybody
think
else in my
everyone who
situation
sees
to get
you,
killed at some
people who
event.
don't know about you are going to see you on these bigger mainstream shows and be like, oh, well, I saw this Destiny clip from 7 years ago. It's okay that he's saying it now because I know what his position was then. Like,
7 years ago,
whenever
I
you say
constantly,
it.
even over the
Even
past
last
week,
week-
I've constantly said that political violence should not happen in this country. I've said it again.
Right, so is this just for you? Are you saying our politicians should adopt this, or are you just using it
I'm
as a way to...
saying that people on the right need to adopt this, and they're
agree,
not.
Obviously, but how do you think this is going to happen by your position? What do you think is going to happen?
enough
have you
people will
accomplished
notice,
what?
and some reasonable people in the center will go, hey, that is kind of weird that Donald
think
Trump
more-
isn't calling for violence to come down in this country. That's kind of strange. I don't really feel comfortable that my president isn't saying, hey, all of us need to calm down.
What reality do you think these people don't notice that, and that you're highlighting it by
If
not
we're
condoning
that far
violence?
gone that people
Condemning
on that other
violence.
side can't do it, then I don't care anymore. I'd rather just play video games.
Okay. Well, my problem is that you imagine this world as, well, everyone's this online internet tuned in person. Meanwhile, finally, you're on these bigger platforms saying this thing, and this is the first.
Why am I on these bigger
exposure.
platforms? Why am I on the platforms?
Because they like the inflammatory rhetoric. That's why.
So
I'm
do you think if I
curious
said, do you think if I said immediately, guys, there's another one we all got to come around and disavow? Then
No,
nobody
but-
talking about it. They'd just be going to Jimmy Kimmel.
No,
They'd be
but
going to random people on the
a
Twitter
bunch
left.
of people watching you who are fans of you, have stuck around through all the bullshit you've done, are going to be like, oh shit, now he's saying that maybe violence isn't so bad. Maybe conservatives should be afraid and might take the wrong message from that.
I think I watch my community enough to know what their feelings are on political violence.
This
I don't
is
think
like
anybody
the
has
exact
that.
opposite
I don't think
of the
anybody
argument you've
has.
made in the past, saying you're responsible for the behavior of the community.
I
and you
am
just
responsible for
turned
the behavior of the community. If my community was turning into a community of political violence, I would be incredibly worried
Well,
about
it's
it.
only been a couple weeks, so I hope we don't have
It's
to
been
see
a year
that,
since the
but-
firefighter sitting, and it's been 10 years
You
since
didn't
people said I was going to
advocate for
eventually
political
become a
violence.
Republican.
Then you
What?
didn't refuse to disavow. You were making fun of people. Which
Yeah, but
we-
I'm not.
you and I
I'm not
both agree
advocating.
we can
I'm not
mock
advocating for
things.
political violence right now. Why would I advocate
You're
for political
refusing
violence?
to condemn it on screen. You're making people that I fucking detest look better than you and have the moral high ground.
Then
But
be
that's
better.
How bad it looks.
Then be better. Have some
God, dude.
integrity and
I
stop
have
running
the
around
integrity.
looking to
I'm
cuck
asking
out
you
to
to
your
have
side
some.
constantly when these guys are over here clapping for evangelicals.
Why do I